If you saw my previous video, you know what this one is about, in which, let's say, rules are gonna be followed, but in case you didn't, I will give you a quick recap of the exposition. The main things we're gonna look at here are the amount of work that the top 4 queens had done before All-Stars, their relationship to the eliminated queens, or just like random miscellaneous things. This video is in 2 parts, technically, because the first part is what if All-Stars 1 had had the top 2 system, and the second, what if All-Stars 1 had had the eliminated queens vote for the top 2. So for the part 1, we need to establish something. The winning pair of the queens in this scenario lip-syncs against one another and eliminates one of the 2 teams in the bottom. The lip-sync songs used in the top 2 lip-syncs are gonna be the songs used in the bottom 2. Unlike my first couple of what if videos about All-Stars, here the eliminations are canon, meaning if, let's say, in the first episode I think Chad and Chanel would have been eliminated, they will not appear in episode 2 and I will have to give my own placement for the rest of the queens. In the first episode of All-Stars 1, the top 2 queens were Latrice and Manila, while the bottom 2, or rather bottom 2 pairs, were Team Mendora and Team Shad. Latrice and Manila would lip-sync to Opposites Attract by Paula Abdul, and while I don't think the outcome of the lip-sync would matter, because I think both would choose Team Mendora to be eliminated, I do still want to guess who'd win the lip-sync, because we're gonna look at their make-believe track record / scores at the end. So the song Opposites Attract is like not a serious song. I mean, it's cute, it's silly, it's kind of like a love pop song, but 80s pop, of course. And what do we know about Manila? She's cute, she's silly, she's not that serious, so I think she'd win this lip sync. Latrice is a great performer, yeah, but I don't see her looking good in a lip sync to something like this. Either way, it'd be a great lip sync. So yeah, Mimi and Pandora are out and Manila wins. Also, for the sake of my point system not going to a 0 to 6 range, let's say that low isn't a thing here and everyone that was low was just safe. In the second episode, in the bottom 2, we have Team Latrilla and Team Brown Flowers, while the top 2 queens are Yara and Alexis. The lip-sync song is There's No Business Like Show Business by Ethel Merman, and here I see Alexis beating Yara in the lip-sync and eliminating Latrice and Manila solely because of Manila. Now, before you say that Alexis wouldn't choose Manila because they're dumb beef from season 3, just remember Alaska on All-Stars 2. What happened on previous seasons matters. So yes, I think Manila and Latrice would have been eliminated. The third episode of All-Stars had one of the best main challenges, and I think that here Team Brown Flowers and Team Rujubi would have been in the bottom. I think Tammy would have been too eccentric for people on the streets, while Nina would have had a little bit of a problem with her English, so they wouldn't really get many things done. The top 2 are Chad and Chanel, and the lip-sync song is Nasty by Janet Jackson. Here I see Chad winning the lip-sync solely because the song isn't that showgirly for Chanel to shine in it, so Chad, a professional queen, would eliminate the statistically worst team thus far, so Team Brown Flowers. The fourth episode had Chad and Chanel in the top 2 again, while Team Rujubi and Team Alexis were in the bottom 2. The lip-sync song was Doncha by PCD, so Chad would win the lip-sync again. Now, I think that she would have eliminated Raven and Jujubi, again because they were the worst of the 2 bottom teams. They hadn't won a main challenge yet, and the previous episode they were in the bottom. Now, while we know that All-Stars 1 signed a deal for 6 episodes, with this setup there are only 5 episodes, so let's say that there is also like a reunion episode to fill up the quota. As you can see, the top 2 out of the top 4 statistically should be Chad and Chanel, though if Fruit chose only one queen out of each pair, it would be Chad and Alexis. Either way, Chad would win the season. Let's add another layer to this now. What if the eliminated queens had been given the power to choose the top 2 just like they did on All-Stars 3? The top 4 are Chad, Chanel, Alexis, and Yara, and as with All-Stars 3, let's also say that the top 4 spoke to the jury of the 8 queens. Based on their personalities and what we know about them, I think that Chad's speech would be kind of like BB's, you know, talking about him working hard, wanting to prove himself, but then there's also like another layer of Chad actually losing season 4 while being so close to winning, and also doing like the most work after and before Drag Race, and I think the queens would like his speech and appreciate it. Chanel, I think, would go full on Shangela, but like Shangela if she were completely up her own ass and like was annoying, and the queens wouldn't have appreciated that. Yara would go for a Kennedy-esque story of needing this win for not just like self-validation, but also for financial reasons, which probably bettered up until All-Stars, but you know, still. Alexis I see doing a Trixie-esque speech where she talks more about other queens rather than herself. So with all this in mind, this is how I think the queens would have voted. I think Mimi would have voted for Chad first, given that she was her first choice for teammate, while the second choice would probably be Chanel, just cause, I don't know, Chanel did not attack her during the Untucked in the first episode, maybe? Pandora would probably vote for Yara first, with Chad second. Latrice would definitely vote Chad first, while Yara second. I think Manila would vote the same as Latrice. Nina would probably go for Chanel as her first choice, and Yara as her second choice. Now, Tammy is a wild card, so let's say she'd go Alexis as her first choice because, I don't know, let's give Alexis some points. And then her second pick is Chanel. Jujubee, I think, would vote for Yara first and Chad second, solely because she, just like Pandora, is kind of like a sweetheart who I think would put the good of others over the validation of being in a hallway that doesn't exist. And Raven would probably be bitter about being eliminated by Chad, so she'd vote Chanel first and Yara second. Thus, Chad would have had 8 points, Chanel 6, Alexis 2, and Yara 8, making Chad and Yara the top 2. The winner, again, clearly is Chad, so yeah, not much change in the final result, rendering this video useless, just like Nicki Minaj. But let's go back now. Let's assume that none of this happened because, well, it didn't happen, but let's assume that the only thing that they had on All Stars, besides the queens competing in pairs, was the jury of the eliminated queens voting for the top 2 out of the top 4, which are Chad, Chanel, Jujubee, and Raven. If I'm being honest, I think the voting would have gone the same, but just swap Yara with Jujubee and Alexis with Raven, and there we are. I do think that the top 2 in this instance would have been Chad and Jujubee, obviously, which is a lip sync I would love to see, but not to that awful RuPaul song that they lip sync to. But yeah, Chad would have won definitely, as should be expected. So yeah, that's the video. Just like in the previous one, I would love to see you guys comment in your first languages, or really any language that's not English, which, by the way, English is a treasure. It's like the only good thing we got from imperialism, and we love it, and we cannot let it be replaced by fucking German. No offense, German, but you're too difficult and too weird. So just like share your thoughts in whatever language you want. I mean, if you only know English, then go for English, duh, clearly. But like, let's just try something new, something else. Anyways, I forgot to say the obvious. These are all just one person's opinions, and we all have opinions, and if this video made you want to smash that report button, then smash that bitch.